ever notice how Beyoncé's whole family seems to be everywhere except one person? Like, we've seen Jay-Z pop out randomly during her concerts, we've watched Blue Ivy grow up in front of cameras like royalty, and Rumi's already catching eyes with her little cameos. But, sir, it's like he's a ghost. Every time you blink, there's another performance, another red carpet, another proud mom moment, and still no sir. The boy is more elusive than a Beyoncé album drop. And now people are starting to ask the uncomfortable question, is something being hidden? Let's rewind to that recent Atlanta concert. Jay-Z joined B on stage, crowd went wild, Blue was there, and as the family made their exit, Rumi was seen leaving with them. But sir, nowhere again. The pattern repeats like clockwork. And what do people online say every single time? Where's sir? It's like he's the invisible member of the Carter clan. But recently, the whispers have grown into full-blown theories, some saying he might be dealing with a serious health issue, others believing Beyoncé is protecting him from the public for a deeper reason. Now, it's not like folks are pulling this out of thin air. There's actual footage of Blue holding Rumi and Sir as babies, and in that video, fans swear they saw a medical tube attached to Sir. That moment kicked off a wave of speculation that he might have been born with medical challenges and has been quietly battling something since day one. Some fans even brought up Beyoncé's complicated pregnancy. She once said she developed high blood pressure, gained over 218 pounds, and ended up having an emergency C-section because one of the twins' heartbeats kept dropping during labor. She never named which twin had the issue, but a lot of people believe it was Sir. And here's the thing, this wouldn't be the first time a celebrity has chosen to shield a child from public view for medical reasons. But with the Carters, the silence is loud. Sir hasn't just been absent from events, he's been missing from the narrative altogether. In interviews and appearances, in those behind-the-scenes family moments, Beyoncé occasionally shares he's barely there. And now rumors are flying that she's been taking him to hospitals in secret, not once, repeatedly. Of course, nobody from the Carter camp has confirmed any of this, but that hasn't stopped fans from playing detective. Some people say Sir might be autistic, based on body language they claim to have observed in old clips. Others say he just doesn't like cameras and crowds, and that he's a naturally private, introverted kid. Tina Knowles, Beyoncé's mother, actually said that Sir's super into numbers and doesn't care about fashion or being seen. But is that just grandma mode downplaying the situation, or is it the truth? And then there's the theory that he had some sort of episode back in 2018, an anxiety attack right after a noisy plane ride, and had to be taken straight to a hospital in Berlin. That incident was barely discussed publicly, but some fans remember. Some say that moment was when Beyoncé fully committed to keeping Sir out of public life. If that's true, you can't really blame her. Being a kid in the spotlight is hard enough. Being a kid with possible health issues in a family as famous as the Carters, that's a whole other level. Still, fans can't help but notice that while Blue and Rumi are starting to step into the limelight, Rumi even walking on stage during Beyoncé's tour, Sir remains behind the curtain, and every time he's left out, the internet spirals again. There was a moment during Beyoncé's Renaissance film that had fans squinting at the screen, convinced they caught a brief glimpse of Sir, and that sparked another wave of theory. Some viewers claimed he exhibited signs of neurodivergence, whether it was the way he moved, how he reacted to light, or just the way he carried himself. People latched on. Alleged signs like hand flapping, repetitive movements, or even something as minor as a slight leg drag have all been dissected frame by frame. It's like the internet's turned into a digital microscope, analyzing every rare moment he's captured. But here's where it gets more personal. Fans didn't stop at visual cues. They turned to Beyoncé's own music for clues. One song in particular, My Rose, has been under the spotlight. The lyrics sound like a love letter wrapped in pain. So many roses, but none to be picked without thorns, she sings. Be fond of your flaws, dear. Fans think this wasn't just poetry, it was personal. Many believe it was about IT, Sir, that she was writing about a child who's different, who struggles, who might be navigating something the rest of the world. And if you really listen, that song does feel like something more than just a metaphor. It's raw, it's vulnerable, and it doesn't have the flashy perfection Beyoncé's known for. It sounds like a mother speaking directly directly to her child, trying to pour love into places that might feel broken. It makes people wonder if Sir isn't hiding because of shame or secrecy, but because Beyoncé is simply being a mom first and an icon second. Still, for every person who empathizes, there's someone else asking hard questions, like if it's really about privacy, then why are Rumi and Blue Ivy so visible? Why was Blue's voice used on Jay-Z's Glory when she was just a baby? Why has Rumi already appeared in Ivy Park campaigns and on stage during tour? Why has Beyoncé brought her daughters into the spotlight but never her son? People point to a specific performance where Rumi joined Beyoncé on stage during the song Protector, a tribute to her kids. She bowed to Rumi, sang to her face, and there was even a little pose they shared. It was emotional, intimate, beautiful, but again, no Sir, not even in the wing. And when fans noticed that Beyoncé only showed baby pictures of him during that same tour while showing current clips of Rumi and Blue, it just fueled more speculation. It's not just that he isn't performing, it's that he's not there. Even in off-stage moments, the pattern holds. Jay-Z's been spotted with his daughters at sporting events, concerts, red carpets, you name it, but Sir is never seen. It's never even accidentally caught in the background. At the 2024 Super Bowl, there were clear shots of Jay-Z posing with Blue and Rumi on the field. No Sir. After Beyoncé's Christmas halftime performance, Rumi was seen backstage with family all dressed up. Still, no Sir. You'd think by now there'd be a single candid photo, a blurry paparazzi shot, something, and when people dig even deeper, they find even more contradictions. Beyoncé told GQ she carefully chooses schools for her kids and avoids working when they're in session, that she's all about normalcy, about privacy. But if that's the case, shouldn't all three kids be equally invisible? Why does Sir seem like the only one behind closed doors while the rest of the family is fully out front? Sir Carter's rare appearances have taken on an almost mythical quality. The last confirmed sighting was back in February, and even that had people doing double takes, mostly because they were shocked at how tall he's gotten. He looked healthy, at least from a distance, but even that glimpse was fleeting, and it raised more questions than it answered. Why now? Why only for a split second? And why did Beyoncé immediately retreat from sharing anything recent afterward? Some fans argue that Sir just isn't interested in the spotlight, that he's introverted, quiet, and prefers his own space. Tina Knowles, his grandmother, basically said as much in an interview. She described him as reserved, more into numbers and learning than flashing lights and cameras. He's not into fashion, she said. He likes to do all the number stuff, and honestly, not every child wants to be front and center. Some are just wired differently, but others aren't buying it. They point out how calculated Beyoncé's public image has always been. Nothing gets shown unless it's meant to be seen. So if she's choosing to show Blue and Rumi, but not Sir, then something's up. Not necessarily something sinister, but something deliberate. It's not just about protecting him from fame. It's about shielding something very specific. Then there's the conversation about disability, which some fans have been pushing into the mainstream. They say Sir might be on the spectrum, and that his condition might be more visible, making it harder for the Carters to maintain their famously polished image if he were out in public often. They're not blaming Beyoncé, they're questioning why society is still so judgmental about children who are different, and why a kid's visibility is tied so closely to their ability to perform or appear normal by Hollywood standards. People have also pointed to how Beyoncé and Jay-Z handle media. They're masters at controlling their narrative. From secret album drops to private weddings, they've always played by their own rules. So if they've decided to keep Sir's life away from cameras entirely, that's probably a conscious strategy. Some say it's just them being good parents. Others think it's more complex, possibly even an effort to avoid backlash or uncomfortable public scrutiny. At the heart of all this, though, is a kid. A child who didn't choose this life. A boy who might be dealing with something personal or medical or emotional. Or maybe nothing at all. Maybe he's just a quiet kid who hates the noise. But But because he's Beyoncé's child, that privacy gets turned into a mystery. And in the vacuum of answers, the internet fills the gaps with theories, speculations, and sometimes straight up fiction. There's a reason people feel so strongly about this. It's not just about curiosity, it's about connection. Fans have watched Blue Ivy grow up, cheered her wins, laughed at her dance moves, praised her poise. Rumi's stepping into that same space now, but sir, he's the missing piece. And for fans who've grown emotionally attached to the Carter family narrative, that absence is loud, almost too loud to ignore. Whether Sir is dealing with something serious or simply choosing a quieter path, only the Carters know for sure. And maybe that's how it should be. But in a world obsessed with access and full visibility, true privacy can start to feel like a secret. And when it comes to Beyoncé, secrets never stay quiet for long. So until something changes, the speculation will continue, loud, relentless, and human as ever.